Hello and welcome to this week's Neumann Update. I'm Alexis Lomax. The big question on everyone's mind is what factors determine if a president is incapable of doing his job. Earlier today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi pushed for a new bill to be added, one that gives Congress a say in removing a president from office under the 25th Amendment. This amendment allows for a president to be removed from office if a majority of the cabinet members and the vice president if the majority of the cabinet members and the vice president consider him unable to carry out his duties. The need for a bill like such comes days after President Trump's positive COVID-19 test. But the bill isn't just about him, Pelosi said. This legislation applies to future presidents, but we are reminded of the necessity of action by his current state of health. President Trump tweeted numerous times about his health and how he's feeling better than ever. But many are still wondering, is that true? This new bill's proposal included the creation of a commission of 17 people, 8 appointed by the Republicans and 8 by the Democrats, as well as a chair selected by the entire body. Those a part of the commissioning board would be in charge of studying the president's health. So far, the commission has been designed to be made up of physicians as well as former officers, but also not limited to previous presidents, vice presidents, and other former executive branch office holders. Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, who also introduced the bill, said this is really only for the most extreme situations, where you have a president who cannot fulfill the functions of the office. Also, in the world of politics, the second presidential debate between President Trump and Joe Biden will now take place virtually. Well, more like there's big hopes that it will. The Commission on Presidential Debates announced Thursday that the next debate on October 15th will be held virtually due to President Trump's his positive test with coronavirus. President Trump then made it clear by refusing to participate in the next debate if held virtually.
I heard that the commission a little while ago changed the debate style, and that's not acceptable to us. I'm not going to do a virtual debate.
President Trump's refusal to take part in a virtual debate led to both campaign teams to go back and forth on how the debate process should continue. Biden's campaign team said they would have agreed to a virtual debate format for the next Thursday, but because the president had seemingly bailed, they then urged the commission to make the debate scheduled on October 22nd a town hall debate format. Hours later, Trump's campaign manager, Bill Stepien, said they would be willing to push the October 15th date back and then move the third debate to November 29th, just days before the November 3rd election. Biden's campaign team rejected their proposal, with campaign spokeswoman Kate Bedingfield saying, in response, Donald Trump doesn't make the debate schedule, the commission does. With no time to deal with uncertainty, the Biden campaign booked a town hall for next Thursday in Philadelphia, allowing voters to ask any questions they may have. President Trump, too, is planning on hosting his own rally on the 15th, as he believes he's been cured of the coronavirus and has been medically cleared for public appearances, again by his physician, Dr. Sean Conley, starting Saturday. Frank Fahrenkopf, head of the debate commission, addressed that the move by the commission to make the next scheduled debate virtual was supported by the Cleveland Clinic, the commission's health advisors. In non-political news, if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend while staying local, the Delaware County Council, the Council Parks and Recreation Department, and Visit Delco have collaborated together to host drive-in movies for the month of October at the Rose Tree Park and Media. This weekend's movies being shown are A League of Their Own at 7 p.m. on Saturday. Trolls will be playing at 3 p.m. and Silver Linings Playbook at 7 p.m. On Sunday, Angry Birds 3 will be shown at 3 p.m. Admission for the drive-in is $10 per car, and it's highly advised to bring your own snacks and drinks, as there won't be a concession stand to buy from on the premises. To ensure that all 150 viewers will be able to see from their cars, Delco officials selected a screen that is waterproof, LED, 11 feet by 18 feet, and will be elevated at 15 feet high, and they will also tune in to an FM station for hearing purposes. In Neumann news, an email sent out from Dr. Haug was yesterday to all residential students that noted that the in the housing contract that we signed in the beginning of the semester, that said that there will be no on-campus visitors for the first 6 weeks has been extended throughout the rest of the semester. This decision came after viewing all of our coronavirus health safety tips, and it was determined that it's best to continue to do what we've been doing to keep our campus safe. And now let's go to Rhea with the sports.
Thank you, Lexi. Okay, so here at Neumann University, many spring and fall athletes have begun practicing with their teams, but in small groups. Both spring and fall sports are looking to make up for lost time after their previous seasons have been cut short due to COVID-19. Many students tell me they are just grateful to be back practicing with their teammates and are eager to get back to competition when it is safe to do so. After going winless in the first 3 weeks of the season, the Eagles finally pulled off their first win over the 49ers Sunday night. As an asset to the win, they improved to a 1-2-1 record and now hold possession of the first place seed in the NFC East. We saw a gutsy performance by Wentz in many instances throughout the game, including the hit to Travis Fulgham on a 42-yard touchdown pass with 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining to acquire a major win for his team. Up next, the Eagles take a trip to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers for the chance to keep a hold on their first place position. Governor Tom Wolf announced on Tuesday that outdoor sporting events will now be allowed to occupy fans at a 15% capacity. That is a max of 7,500 fans per game in the state of Pennsylvania. There will be fans at the Eagles and Steelers game this Sunday. However, Phillies fans are eagerly anticipating the verdict on whether or not the Link will host fans next Sunday. This is said to be decided by the city this upcoming Tuesday. Phillies general manager Matt Klentak has officially resigned from his position on Saturday. Assistant GM Ned Rice will serve as interim until a permanent successor is hired. Through his 5 years with the club, Klentak has signed some of the club's key players as well as the notorious $330 million deal to Bryce Harper back in March of 2019. Klentak, who has 2 years remaining on his contract, will remain in the organization in an unspecified role. Over Tuesday and Wednesday in the 2020 NHL Draft, the Flyers added 5 more players to their prospect pool. In addition, they settled some big changes amongst the defensive line. Flyers lead defenseman Matt Niskanen informed the club on Tuesday that he will retire from the NHL after having 1 year left in his contract, while defenseman Justin Braun has reportedly signed a $1.8 million 2-year extension with the club. The Flyers came into the draft with 7 overall picks and made 5 amongst those 5. They acquired a let-it-rip, goal-seeking winger with one of the most dangerous shots in the draft. As the draft comes to an end, free agency kicks off as the Flyers have their eye on a few key accessories to add to their offensive and defensive lines, including St. Louis's Alex Pietrangelo, a right-handed shooter who would give the Flyers one of the NHL's best number 1 pairings if joined with Ivan Provorov. The Sixers have officially begun interviewing candidates to work as an executive to general manager Elton Brand on Wednesday. Brand has been given more responsibility and led the head coach search, resulting in the hire of Doc Rivers. The organization has previously stated they need to strengthen their association from top to bottom and make some critical changes to their front office. Except for the possible replacement of president and vice presidents of the team's basketball operations, the club looks to gain some major enhancements to set the team on the right track for next season. Now let's take it over to Amaris's Critic Corner.
Greetings everyone and welcome to Critics Corner. We are just weeks away from Halloween, and as the countdown continues, we continue to scope out some of the most thrilling films and TV shows to get you set in the right mood for the most wonderful time of the year. And this week, we are talking about the unhinged zombie apocalyptic film, Train to Busan, which is available on Tubi and Amazon Prime. This Korean film was released in 2016 and follows a father named Sekwol who decides to travel with his estranged daughter Suan to get to Busan so the daughter can spend her birthday with her mother in Busan. But in order to get to Busan, Seiko and his daughter have to travel by train, which seems like no problem. However, it's not so nice to be on a train when an unexpected zombie apocalypse starts to surge, causing much delay to their travel plans, since they, along with a few other fellow passengers who are unaffected, have to figure out how to survive in such a confined space. Personally, zombie movies are not much my thing, but this was a great exception. There's so much character development among the leading characters, not to mention great vivid shots of the gory imagery, and on an emotional level, made me tear up a little bit. I personally rate this film a 10 out of 10, and that's coming from me. Although this film is categorized as horror, I found it more thrilling if anything. Plus, I don't scare that easily. Well, occasionally. But that's all for this week. I'm Maris Manning, and this has been Critics Corner from the Neumann Update. Greetings, everyone.
Well, I think it's been an understatement to say that 2020 has been an interesting year, to say the least. We've come face to face with our annoying archenemy, the spotted lanternfly, dealt with a global-wide pandemic, and saw Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin's never-ending ferocious feud in Netflix's Tiger King, that I think we can all admit that we have thought about living under a rock at least one time this year. Thanks to a special sweepstakes with Hotels.com, some lucky people will be able to turn that wish into reality. In the coming weeks leading up to Election Day, you can stay off the grid in a luxurious man-made cave 50 feet below New Mexico's rustic underground surface. The price? An Abe Lincoln special at only $5 per night. For the many that won't be able to snag this snazzy deal, the hotel website is offering 20% off hotels with the word rock in its name for a limited time. Speaking of caves, some New York transportation workers were caught after converting a room underneath Grand Central Station in New York into a secret man cave. They furnished the room with a wall-mounted TV, Wi-Fi, microwave bed, and refrigerator, which were all hidden behind plasterboard, cardboard, in an unused locksmith shop. After multiple complaints of parties being thrown in the fortress, investigators were called to the room where they discovered the hidden man cave. All 3 employees have been suspended as the investigation continues further. Today marks the day of what would have been world-renowned singer and peace activist John Lennon's 80th birthday. Lennon was a key member in arguably the greatest rock band of all time, which forever changed the genre of rock and roll. Alongside frontman Paul McCartney, the pair wrote some of rock's greatest anthems, from Penny Lane to Can't Buy Me Love, in honor of Lennon's lasting legacy on the world. The Empire State Building was lit up bright blue with a rotating peace sign, with Lennon's late son, Sean, being the first one to turn them on. Lennon taught the world that we should all learn to love one another throughout his timeless music and everlasting lyrics that had a special talent like no other to express profound thoughts flawlessly. Some of my favorite quotes are, "You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. And everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And love, love, love. All you need is love. Love is all you need." Happy birthday, John. Let's get into tech talk. The U.S. Army is currently testing augmented reality goggles for dogs in combat. While military dogs are able to scout out bombs and other dangerous hazards, they do require further instructions by directing the dogs with laser pointers that need to be close by to operate. These newly introduced goggles will feature an inside visual indicator that the dogs can be trained to follow by directing them to a specific spot, while the handler can see what the dog sees via a live feed. Each set of goggles is custom fit and are built to protect in bad conditions or aerial drops. While this technology is still at the beginning stages, the results have been extremely promising. The company has been given more funding to make a wireless version of this product. With that, let's bring it to Amanda with On a Positive Note.
With midterm grades happily behind us, we could all probably use some positive stories. How do you try to spread some positivity within your community? Well, a mother-daughter duo, Katie and Abby Malloy in Virginia, decided to spread some positivity in their area by joining the Kindness Rock program. The Kindness Rock program has become a trend on social media where people use their creativity to paint rocks and place them throughout their community for others to find and collect. People can go to their local Kindness Rock Project page, Facebook page, to see photos and hints of where they can find some painted rocks in their area. The mother-daughter duo has enjoyed being a part of this project as it has given them the opportunity to spend some time together, spread a little joy in their community, and visit new places. Knights, if you want to join in the fun, I challenge you to join a Kindness Rock group or start one on campus. Have you ever thought about how you could help brighten the day of someone who works hard to serve their customers? Well, a New Jersey photographer and food blogger named Krista Stuccio has decided to take her Instagram page that she used to document her cooking in college to collect donations to surprise servers with huge tips in a Venmo challenge. After Krista discovered the Venmo challenge on TikTok, she decided that she wanted to join in the fun and raise money to surprise restaurant servers with big tips. But she never thought that asking her followers would have turned into such a success. Within 8 hours of Krista's initial call for generosity, she collected $153 in donations, which she added to her tip when she went out with a group of friends. Her most recent tip took place in Edgewater, New Jersey, where she surprised Raquel Rodriguez with a $472 tip. In an interview, Rodriguez said, quote, "Tips is what puts money in our pockets, so that truly means a lot. I make that money in 3 days," end quote. As a former server, Krista realized that a lot of time they don't get treated the right or don't get tipped well. So being able to over-tip is a great feeling. She hopes that her Venmo challenge will inspire others to help the service industry. So will you join in Krista's movement and surprise your next server with a big tip? Finally, bringing things more local, a Girl Scout in Northeast Philadelphia named Sydney Brown has been named a Youth Poet Laureate. She has enjoyed writing poetry since she was in 5th grade and only dreamed of having her writing recognized by city leaders or published in a book, especially at the age of 16. When we were all stuck inside for a couple months due to COVID-19, Sydney decided to use that time to focus on her writing. She also connected with other writers online, showcased her work on an Instagram page, as well as even wrote and published an ebook of her writing. After hearing about the possibility to become the city's next youth poet, Sydney entered a tough interview process and later received the exciting news that she was selected as a new youth poet of the city. Now Sydney wants to use her new platform to hold virtual readings and youth-led discussions, as well as use her voice to share with young people that they have the power to cultivate change. Sydney has also launched a mentoring program called Project Good, which stands for Girls Overcoming Obstacles Daily, which is a virtual space for middle and high school girls to connect, work through issues, and talk about healthy relationships. And that's all for this week's On a Positive Note. How about we head back over to Rhea for the weather?
Thank you, Amanda. Well, we've had a roller coaster of temperatures this past week, and this week it looks to be much of the same. Today we had a chilly start, then a warm up through the day as we drop back down to that chill tonight at a low of 47. A pleasant day tomorrow to kick off your weekend. We have some sunny skies and a warm high of 75 degrees. For your game day Sunday, there may be a possible chance for a shower or two throughout the day and a high of 72. Monday, we'll have another chance of showers and a mild 68 degrees. Tuesday, much of the same with showers popping in and out and a consistent temperature of 68. Wednesday, those sun and clouds pair up, bringing the temperature back up to 71. So make sure you keep that umbrella handy and a light jacket in sight for next week's temperature whirlwind. That concludes this week's weather update. Back to you, Alexis.
Thanks, Rhea. Now I'm looking forward to next week. We have men's rugby interest meeting at 6:30 p.m., a women's rugby interest meeting at 7 p.m., and a roller hockey interest meeting at 8. Also, next week is homecoming week, so make sure to check your email for a detailed list of activities to come. That's all for this week's Neumann Update. On behalf of myself and the entire Update team, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.